They said Christmas was canceled. You're too poor for a big gathering. I ate leftovers alone in silence. That night, I saw my sister on social media celebrating with champagne, a DJ, and a luxury dinner. Everyone was there, except me. I said nothing until Dad texted me, "Can you send a $3,400 for rent?" I replied, "I don't fund liars." I blocked him and closed all transfers. At 8:20 a.m., 30 missed calls and a voicemail that said, "Please call U.S. I'm William, 29, living in a small apartment in Seattle. It's a simple place with an old couch and a kitchen I barely use. I work as a data analyst, earn decent money, but I'm not rich. For 3 years, I've secretly paid my parents' rent, $3 for $100 a month. Nobody knew. I told my father, Edward, not to tell anyone. I sent the money. He paid the landlord, and everyone thought he was keeping the house afloat. I didn't want to be seen as a savior, but that changed everything. In November, the air already smelled like Christmas. My younger sister, Chloe, always the queen of parties, organizes everything from birthdays to barbecues. This year, I heard rumors of a big Christmas gathering at my parents' house, a large but old place with an overgrown garden. I called Chloe to confirm. Her voice was cold, like she was annoyed to talk. "There's no gathering this year," she said. "Christmas is canceled. There's no money, William. And let's be honest, you're too poor for a big party." I was stunned. Poor? Me, who paid the rent. I tried to speak, but she cut me off. "Dad's been killing himself to keep the house. You don't do anything to help. He told us you're a lazy bum with no ambition." I hung up without a word. My father had taken the credit, making me look like a failure. Her words burned all day. The following days were strange. I tried to stick to my routine, work, gym, a beer with friends, but I couldn't shake what Chloe said. Did my mom, Linda, think the same? My uncles, cousins, did they all believe I was a loser? It hurt that my father, the man I'd given everything to, had lied like that. One night, staring at the ceiling, I thought about confronting him but didn't want to fight over the phone. I decided to wait, maybe clear things up at Christmas. December 24th came. I was alone in my apartment. No tree, no lights, just a rotisserie chicken from the store and a beer. I thought about calling my mom but didn't. I felt out of place, like I didn't belong to my own family. I sat down to watch a movie but couldn't focus. My phone buzzed with Instagram notifications, messages from friends, but I didn't want to open anything. I knew I'd see photos of parties, happy families, things I didn't have. Around 10 p.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I opened Instagram, and there it was. Chloe had posted stories of a party at my parents' house. Lights everywhere, a giant tree. Tables with turkey, shrimp, desserts that looked straight out of a fancy restaurant. A DJ played in the garden, and people were dancing. I saw my mom laughing with a glass of champagne, uncles, cousins, even neighbors. Everyone was there. In one video, my dad raised an expensive bottle of wine and said, "To the family that always pulls through." My heart sank. Not a single message or call. They hadn't invited me. It was like I didn't exist. I felt a mix of anger and sadness. I'd paid for that house for years, and they left me out. How did they afford the party, the champagne, the DJ, the food? It wasn't for my dad, who always claimed he was broke. I turned off my phone and sat in silence, staring at my plate of leftovers. I wasn't hungry. I just wanted to understand why they treated me like this. Then, at 11:43 p.m., my phone buzzed with a text from my dad. "Can you send the $3,400 for rent?" The landlord's pressing. My blood boiled. After lying, excluding me, letting Chloe think I was a bum, he asked for money like it was nothing. My hand shook as I typed, "I don't finance liars." I sent it, blocked his number, and turned off my phone. For the first time, I felt a shred of dignity. The next morning by 8:20 a.m., my phone was flooded with notifications. 30 missed calls from my dad and a voicemail. "William, please call us. You can't do this to us. We're your family." I didn't play it. I knew what was coming. Excuses, manipulation. I was done. I made coffee and sat in my kitchen. Thinking about what to do. I had receipts for every transfer, $3, for $100 a month for 3 years, over $122,400. If they wanted to fight, I'd show them the truth. But I didn't want to act on impulse. I wanted them to feel the pressure. That afternoon, my mom texted, "William, what's wrong?" "Your dad's not well. We need the rent money. Don't be selfish." The word selfish made me laugh, but not with joy. Then my Uncle Mark texted, "Will, your dad says you're mad. What's going on? Family should stick together." I didn't reply. My dad was already spreading the word, painting me as the bad guy. The next day, Chloe texted, "William, how can you be so cruel? Dad's sick because of you." The word cruel stung, but I was tired of feeling guilty. I saved her message. I knew I'd need it if things got worse. 2 days later, another voicemail from my dad. He sounded weak. "William, I'm not okay. The stress is killing me. We can't lose the house." For a moment, I doubted myself. What if he was really sick? But then I remembered the party, the lies, how he let everyone think I was worthless. It was a trick. I didn't respond. I started planning. I took screenshots of all the transfers and saved them. If my family kept this up, I'd show everything to Chloe, my mom, everyone. But I wanted to give them one last chance. If my dad admitted the truth, if Chloe apologized, maybe I'd help. But with conditions. That night, I got another text from my dad. I didn't read it. I sat with a beer, thinking about what was coming. I love my family, but I couldn't keep being their bank while they treated me like trash. If they kept lying, I'd expose everything, dates, amounts, all of it. The phone buzzed again. An email from my mom, long, talking about how my dad wasn't sleeping, how they needed the money. It ended with, "You're our son, William. Don't abandon us." I read it, feeling anger and sadness, but didn't reply. The next time I spoke to them would be in person, and I wouldn't be the William they knew. The following days were tense. I tried to focus on work, but my mind was on my family. My phone kept buzzing. My mom sent another, more desperate email. "William, please talk to us. Your dad's not well." My Uncle Mark wrote, "Will, this is serious. Call your dad." Even my cousin Jack, who never gets involved, texted, "Cousin, what did you do?" Everyone's worried. I didn't answer. I was sick of excuses, but guilt gnawed at me. What if my dad was really sick? Then I remembered the Christmas party, the lies, Chloe calling me a bum, and the anger returned. I knew I couldn't keep ignoring them. My dad wouldn't give up, and Chloe seemed remorseful. I needed a plan. I want to confront them face to face, show the proof of the transfers. $3, for $100 a month for 3 years, over $122,400. I didn't want to do it over the phone. I wanted to see their reactions. No hiding. I thought about setting up a meeting at my parents' house. Direct, no nonsense. While planning, I kept living my life, work, friends, but I couldn't stop checking Instagram. Chloe posted stories from fancy restaurants with captions like, "No time for drama." It was a bitter laugh. She had no idea what was coming. One night, while eating a burger and watching a movie, I got a call from an unknown number. I hesitated but answered. It was my dad using another phone. His voice sounded weak, almost broken. "William, don't hang up. I need to talk. I'm not well. Son, the doctor says it's my heart from the stress. If we lose the house, I don't know what I'll do." He paused, waiting for me to speak. I stayed silent. "I know you're mad," he said, "but if you don't pay again, I'll keep saying I'm sick. I'll make everyone pressure you. You'll lose your family's love. William, is that what you want?" A chill ran through me. It wasn't just an excuse. It was blatant blackmail. "Edward," I said coldly, "don't play with me. If you want to talk, it'll be in person, and I'll bring proof." I hung up before he could respond. My pulse was racing. It was the first time I confronted him like that, but his words disgusted me. How could he threaten me with my family's love? That call convinced me I couldn't wait any longer. He was playing dirty, and I had to move first. The next day, I called my mom, keeping my voice firm. "I want to see everyone at the house this Saturday." It's not optional. She tried to ask questions, but I cut her off. Tell Chloe, Edward, everyone. I'll be there. I hung up, feeling a weight lift. I was ready to end this. Saturday came fast. I spent the morning preparing my proof. I printed bank statements, highlighting every $3,400 transfer, and put them in a folder with screenshots of Chloe's and my dad's messages, including the call where he threatened me. I didn't want to leave anything to chance. If they denied it, they'd have to do it in front of the facts. I drove to my parents' house, an hour from my apartment. The neighborhood looked the same: big houses, tall trees. I saw several cars parked: my mom, Chloe, Uncle Mark, Aunt Susan, Jack. I got out with a folder, stomach tight, but determined. My mom opened the door, eyes red. "William, thank you for coming," she said, trying to hug me. I stepped back. "I'm not here to hug," I said. "Let's go inside." She followed me. In the living room, Chloe was on a couch, staring at her phone, annoyed. My dad sat in a chair, looking tired. The others watched me, confused. "I'm glad you're all here," I started, standing in the center. "We're going to clear something up. For 3 years, I've paid the rent for this house. $3 for $100 a month, over $122,400. The room went silent. Chloe rolled her eyes. My dad looked down. I pulled out the folder and showed the papers. "Here are the transfers. Edward, you know this better than anyone." I looked at him, waiting for him to speak. He didn't. My mom looked at the papers, stunned. "Is this true?" she asked my dad. He mumbled but didn't answer clearly. Chloe stood, furious. "This is a joke. Dad said you didn't help, that you were a bum. Now you're saying you paid everything? Why didn't you say so before?" I stared at her. "Because I didn't want to be the family's bank." "But you believe his lies, Chloe. You called me poor while I paid for you to live here." Murmurs filled the room. Uncle Mark tried to calm things. "William, let's talk calmly." But I didn't want calm. "No," I said, "I've been quiet too long." "Edward, why did you lie? Why did you let everyone think I was worthless?" My dad spoke, voice low. "I want to protect our image. I didn't want them to know we needed help." "Protect?" I repeated. "You threw a lavish Christmas party with champagne and a DJ while I ate leftovers alone. You left me out. That's protecting?" I showed a screenshot of Chloe's stories. She turned red, speechless. Then I pulled out my phone and played the recording of my dad's threat to keep pretending he was sick. The room froze. My mom gasped. Chloe stared at my dad, incredulous. "You said that?" my mom asked, tears in her eyes. My dad tried to defend himself. I was desperate. I didn't want to lose the house. But no one believed him. Aunt Susan spoke up. "Edward, this is low, even for you." Jack shook his head silently. I looked at everyone. "I've given everything for this family, and you treated me like trash. Edward, from now on, you pay most of the rent. I'll help with a small part, but only if you acknowledge what I did. If not, I pay nothing." Chloe tried to protest. "Dad doesn't have that money." I cut her off. "Then he'll find it. I've carried this alone for years. It's his turn." My dad looked at me with anger and shame. "It's not that simple, William." "It is," I said. "You pay, or everyone will know the truth, not just here, but outside. I have the proof." The meeting ended in silence. I left the papers on the table and walked out without saying goodbye. In the car, I felt relief but also anxiety. I'd exposed my dad, but I knew he wouldn't give up. Back at my apartment, my mom texted, "William, I talked to your dad. He says he's sorry, but we need time. Don't pull away." I didn't reply. I knew my dad would try to manipulate again. Chloe wrote, "I don't know what to say. I didn't know, but you can't let Dad sink." I ignored her, tired of excuses. That night, I thought about what was next. My dad had shown his worst side, and the family was divided, but I wasn't backing down. I had the proof and was ready to use it if they kept pushing. The next move was theirs, and I'd be ready. The following days were a whirlwind. My phone kept buzzing, but the messages were different. My mom sent a short one. William, please talk. We don't want to lose you. Chloe, surprisingly, wrote what seemed like an apology. I didn't know what you did for us. I'm sorry for what I said, but don't let Dad pay alone. He can't. Uncle Mark and Aunt Susan sent messages asking me to give the family a chance. Even Jack texted, Cousin, that was intense. I had no idea. What are you going to do? I didn't respond to anyone. I needed time to think, to decide how to close this without letting my dad manipulate me again. I knew my dad wouldn't stay quiet after I exposed him. His pride was hurt. I imagined him planning something, maybe another lie to regain control. But I wasn't the same William who stayed silent and paid. This time, I'd end it on my terms. On Monday, while working my apartment, I got a call from my mom. I answered, expecting another attempt to smooth things over. Her voice sounded tired. William, your dad wants to talk. He says he's willing to acknowledge what you did, but he needs you to help with the rent one more time, just to get through this. I laughed, incredulous. Acknowledge? Mom, he threatened to pretend he's sick to make everyone hate me. I'm not giving him a cent until he admits it in front of everyone. She sighed. I know, son, but he's your dad. We don't want the family to break apart. I hung up, frustrated. The family was already broken, and it wasn't because of me. That night, I got a long email from my dad. Unusual for him. He said he was sorry for lying, that he was ashamed, but the house was the only thing keeping the family together. It ended with, if you don't pay this month, the landlord will evict us. I'm not asking for me, but for your mom and Chloe. I read it twice, feeling the same old manipulation. I didn't reply but saved the email. It was more proof. I decided it was time to end this. I didn't want to keep dodging messages or letting my dad play his cards. I called my mom and told her I'd come to the house on Saturday, but this time would be different. Tell everyone to be there, I said, and tell Edward to bring a real solution, not excuses. She tried to ask questions, but I cut her off. Saturday, Mom. No games. I hung up, feeling sure. I knew what I had to do. I spent the week preparing. I reviewed my finances to see how much I could help without letting my dad off the hook. I decided if the family wanted my help, it would be on clear terms. My dad would pay at least 60% of the rent. I'd cover the rest, but only for 6 months. After that, they'd have to manage. I also prepared a presentation on my laptop with the transfers, messages, and my dad's threat recording. If he tried to lie again, he'd have no escape. Saturday came. I drove to my parents' house. The air was cold, and the neighborhood seemed quieter than ever. When I arrived, I saw the same cars as last time. My mom, Chloe, Mark, Susan, Jack. But there was another car I didn't recognize. I got out with my laptop and folder, heart racing. This was it. My mom opened the door with a nervous smile. William, thank you for coming. I nodded and walked in. In the living room, everyone was seated, but there was a surprise. The landlord, an older man named Richard, was there. My dad must have invited him, probably to pressure me. Chloe looked at me uncomfortably. My dad sat in a chair, defeated. The others seemed tense. Okay, I started, opening my laptop. Let's finish this once and for all. My dad tried to speak, but I raised my hand. No, Edward, you listen first. I connected my laptop to the TV and started the presentation. I showed the transfers. 3 years, $3,400 a month, over $122,400. Then Chloe's messages calling me a bum. Finally, I played my dad's threat to pretend he was sick. The room went silent. Richard frowned, looking at my dad. This is what I've dealt with, I said. I've paid for this house while you treated me like trash. Edward, you lied to everyone, took the credit, and when I confronted you, you blackmailed me. I looked at Richard. I don't know what they've told you, but I've kept this house going. If you don't believe me, here are the receipts. I handed him the folder. Richard looked at the papers, nodding slowly. This is unexpected, he said, then turned to my dad. Edward, you told me you paid everything. What's going on? My dad stammered but had no defense. My mom started crying. Chloe covered her face, embarrassed. I looked at my dad. You have two options. One, admit the truth now, in front of everyone, and start paying 60% of the rent. I'll cover the rest for 6 months. Then you're on your own. Two, keep lying and I pay nothing. Richard, you decide what happens to the house. Richard looked at me, impressed. William, this is more than I expected. But if you've been paying, you have my respect. My dad stayed silent for a moment, then said quietly, I'm sorry, William. I shouldn't have lied. You paid the rent, and I took the credit. I was ashamed. The room filled with murmurs. Chloe spoke, almost whispering, I didn't know, Will. I'm so sorry. My mom nodded, crying, Son, we had no idea. I looked at them all. I don't want to destroy this family, but I won't keep carrying everything while you lie to me. Edward, do you accept my conditions? He nodded, not meeting my eyes. Yes, I accept. Richard spoke up. If William's willing to help, I'll give a 1-month grace period to organize payments. But, Edward, you signed the new contract. I nodded. Good. 6 months. Then it's your responsibility. I turned to my family. This doesn't erase what happened, but if you want us to stay a family, you have to respect me. Chloe stood and hugged me, unexpected. We will. I promise I'll change. My mom joined, and for the first time in days, I felt a bit of peace. Before leaving, I spoke to Richard alone, explaining my help was temporary. He promised to monitor my dad's payments. In the car, I felt relief and exhaustion. I'd won, but it didn't feel like a victory. It was a new beginning, one where my family had earned my trust back. At my apartment, I got a text from Jack. Cousin, that was epic. You're a legend. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Then my mom wrote, Thank you, son. We love you. I replied briefly, I love you too, but now it's up to you. I turned off my phone and poured a beer. The house, the family, everything was on a thread, but for the first time, I didn't feel alone. My dad had lost his mask, and I had found my voice.